Okay. Should we start?
Yes.
Om Namo Arihantanam. Om Namo Siddhanam. Om Namo Ariyanam. Om Namo Ujayanam. Namo Loe Suvahunam. Eso Pancha Namaskaram. Mangalanam cha Suvesim. Paramam Or do Virat, please.
Yeah. So we'll play our CA anthem. ICI motto. So with this, would like to say happy CA Day to all. Over to Mavirji.
Thank you, Virak bhai. Jai Jinendra to all. CA Day. CA means a creative accountant. We create a happy economy. We create smiles at work. We create opportunities. We create reliable financials. We are creative accountants. We are chartered accountants. We are so creative that we even celebrate today's day along with doctors. And don't forget, today is also a GST day. A very, very happy CA Day to all CA fraternity members and aspirants too. Congratulations to all of you for being a chartered accountant and also for joining this wonderful profession. A happy CA Day to all of you. Now I request JCF Apex President CA Shantilalji Kochar sir to kindly enlighten us with his opening address. Over to Kochar sir. कोचर सर आवाज नहीं आ रहा है. विराग भाई.
हेलो हेलो अभी आया?
Yes, sir.
हाँ सर.
Yeah. Good morning to everybody. On behalf of All India Jain Chartered Accountant Federation, I welcome you all. And first of all, happy CA Day, since it is the 1st July and we are celebrating our Chartered Accountants Day. So everybody, I wish everybody has a happy Chartered Accountants Day. And today's webinar, we are organizing on the subject Corporate Financial Blunder and Professional Opportunity for CAs, and to be conducted by Robin Banerjee. I welcome Robin Banerjee sir for as a speaker. I also welcome our special guest Dr. CA Ashok Pagriya, who is ex-RCM, founder president of JCAF Pune. I also welcome CA Vishal Doshi, who is at present vice president of WIRC and from Vadodara. and he's also our JCAF member. I also welcome CA Vikash Jain. He's also RCM from Ahmadabad. They are our special guest. And without wasting our much of the time, I welcome you all and all the delegates. And I hope and we should start our program and further. That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for rousing opening to this session. Now I request President of JCAF Mumbai chapter, Sri Pradeep Ji Kapadia sir, to share his thoughts on this special day.
थैंक यू महावीर जी। आप सभी सहधर्मी भाइयों को और बहनों को जेसीएफ मेंबर के प्रथम सेवक का प्रणाम और जय जिनेंद्र। पहले तो आप सबको सीए फाउंडेशन डे की बहुत बहुत बधाइयां, तहे दिल से बधाई देता हूं। अब जब आप जेसीएफ की एक्टिविटीज के बारे में मुझे पूछे तो मैं किन लफ्जों में जेसीएफ की एक्टिविटी के बारे में बताऊं, क्योंकि वो लफ्जों में कहाँ समा पाने वाले हैं, क्योंकि इन जेसीएफ की इतनी सारी एक्टिविटी, ढेर सारी एक्टिविटियां होती रहती है। वी हैव so many lectures, we have meetings, we have workshops, we have webinars in and out to keep our professional brothers updated and upgraded. We have like annual conference with recognitions of stalwarts, Jain CAs excelling in various domains. We creating fresh professional opportunities for members, practicing development initiatives like marketing, CA service, faculties development, training, block writing, speed reading, networking opportunities with prominent businessmen, CAs, doctors, lawyers and community members, providing public speaking and book writing platform, capacity building initiatives, office management work from home, etc. We have sharing of job, freelancing opportunities, community support initiatives like Mudra loan, startup funding initiatives, annual Samapna Day, get together with felicitation of tapasris from professional families, felicitations of newly passed CAs, that we do it every year, and annual Tirth Yatra come networking event. And as we are Jains, we have our charity at our core. We do so many charity activities, even in this COVID period. We have given so many, nearly more than 1,000 PPE kits. We have given so many things to hospitals, the pillow covers, the grub, and many other things. And so I think, what can I say about it? So not waiting, I think what non-members are waiting for, just log in at www.jcaf.in to become the life member at just rupees 1,100 rupees. You can't get such speakers like Robin Sir and Nilesh Shah, Nilesh Vikamsi, then Anil Singhi, so many of them. At this, I think 1,100 rupees is nothing. So I would request everyone who are still not a member and who are who have logged in today to become the member immediately. And let us now finally resolve, day by day, in every way, let us be a gift to the world by being most and more loving, sharing, caring, and healthy, blissful, and spiritual. Om Arham. Again, wish you all a very happy CA Foundation Day. Thank you very much. Hello.
Yes, thank you, Coach sir, for your stimulating and inspiring words. Pagriya sir, can you hear me?
Mahavir, have you heard me?
Yes.
Yes, sir,
no problem. Okay, I think there is some technical issue with Mr. Pagriya. So we have the pleasure of having CA Vishal Bhai Doshi sir from Vadodara. He is the Vice Chairman of WIRC. I request CA Vishal Bhai Doshi sir to share a few words on this special day.
Sir, Pagriya sir,
Hello,
yes, sir, please, sir.
Hello,
Pagriya sir, can
Mahavir, I can listen to you. Yes,
Okay,
yes, I can.
Vishal sir has joined. I request Vishal sir first to address the gathering now.
Yeah. Thank you, Mahavir ji. Shantilal Kochar ji, Pradeep ji, Ashok ji, Virag bhai, Jai Jinendra, to all the friends, I would, for the paucity of time and the eagerness to learn, to Mr. Robin Banerjee, our own member, I would cut down on the formalities. Good morning to Robin sir. Friends, today I wish first of all a happy CA day to all my chartered accountant friends. And over here, as a member as well as elected representative, I would just reiterate what our ICI motto, our ICI logo means. Ye ise suptashu jagrati, which means a person who is awake in those who sleep. As professionals, we have to remain awake. Yesterday, I was hearing the speech of our Honorable Prime Minister, where he extended the Garib Anna Yojana to November, and he thanked two group of citizens. One were the farmers, and second were the honest taxpayers. So I believe that as a chartered accountant, our responsibility towards the nation building, or as partner in nation building, is of immense importance towards ensuring that the compliances are done as per the provisions of the law. And friends, as chartered accountants, I would say we should not limit ourselves only to the regulatory compliances. And like Kocharji and Kapadiaji mentioned, that as professionals, there are so many CSR activities that we are doing, and we should involve ourselves, because ultimately CSR and social and charitable activities are also part of nation building. We are all aware of the situation presently, and I would say even small things where we remain awake, I would say that if we find somebody हमारे ऑफिस में या सोसाइटी में या किसी ने मास्क नहीं पहना है, just to ensure that that person wears mask, I think that is also an awakening in the current situation. And I compliment JCAF for this webinar, and definitely for all the activities they are doing. And I am sure that during the day and during the years to come, the leaders at JCAF would continuously guide us into how we can professionally, personally, and socially be partners in nation building. My best wishes to all my professional friends over here, and wish you a happy CA day once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Now I call upon the founder president of JCAF Pune, former RCM WIRC, former chairman of Pune branch of ICAI, author of many books, poet, a social worker, our constant source of inspiration and guidance, Sri Ashok Ji Pagriya, sir, to express himself on this special day. Pagriya, sir.
I welcome you all for this webinar organized by JCAF. I welcome Sri Robin Ji Banerjee, Sri Shantilal Ji, Sri Vishal Ji, Sri Pradeep Ji, Santosh Ji, Mahavir Ji, and all present over here. On this corona situation, this type of webinars are frequently organized by various organizations. I give my compliments to Santosh Ji Doshi, Mahavir Ji, for organizing this webinar for the benefit of the chartered accountants. This is Chartered Accountants Day, and this day is remembered by us forever. And on this occasion, we have organized this webinar. I thank you, the management, JCF Mumbai, JCF Pune, for organizing these types of seminars. On this corona situation, these chartered accountants definitely, though there will be some problems, but in the near future, there will be various opportunities, and all those opportunities, the lecture is going to be given by Robin Ji, and they will definitely inspire our chartered accountants for their new opportunities. हर अंधियारी रात के बाद सूरज का उजाला होता है. So on this corona situation, which we can expect that after some days, definitely again good days are there, happy days are again there. Once again, I welcome you all for this particular webinar on behalf of JCAF Pune. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. We are pleased to have CA Vikash Jain from Ahmadabad, who is Regional Council member of WIRC. I request CA Vikash Jain, sir, to express his thoughts in few words.
Thank you, Babu. First of all, I would like to wish all our fellow chartered accountants a very happy CA day. I'm thankful to Shantilal sir, Kochar sir. He's doing wonderful work. I would say he's so energetic and always motivating all of us for the various programs. Pradeep Bhai Kapadia sahab is also here. Ashok ji Pagriya sahab, our speaker for today, Banerjee sahab, and vice chairman and colleague in council, and my friend Vishal Bhai is also there. So good morning all of you, and wish you all a very happy CA day. Friends, yes, this corona is undoubtedly a tough and testing time for all of us, but every opportunity, every challenge brings opportunity within its fold, and same way I look at this particular time situation. This has given us the required pause in our busy lives or busy schedules, and because of this, we have been able to deep dive into and see so many new opportunities that are budding for all the chartered accountants. Yes, we need to be out of the mental rut. We have to think in a different way, different perspective. And I'm sure that days ahead for chartered accountants are like anything. And yes, JCAF, if I would say, I have been in touch for the last 2 years, and that too, especially because of the Shantilal sir, Kochar sahab, and Jayesh Bhai Kala. And yes, wonderful work is being done at this platform, and I am sure that this will do many other things for the fraternity, for the development of all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I call upon President of JCAF Pune, CA Santosh Bhai Doshi sir, to kindly articulate the achievements of today's speaker, CA Robin Banerjee, and to introduce him.
Thank you, Mahavir. Dear friends, it's an indeed honor for me to introduce on behalf of Jain Chartered Accountants Federation on our today's faculty, CA Robin Banerjee sir. He has accomplished 5 professional certifications in our industry. Being MA, he has also accomplished certifications like CA, CS, CMA as well. He is in this industry serving particularly in financial sector for about 4 decades. Presently, he is a MD of Caprians India Limited. Earlier, he has served for several multinational global corporations in senior leadership positions, including General Manager of Hindustan Lever, Managing Director of ArcelorMittal Germany, Executive Director of Thomas Cook as well as SR Steel, Group CFO and member of the board of Suzlon Energy, and like so many. He was nominated as a best CFO by leading business magazine Business Today. On social front, he offers his services not only to big and prestigious business bodies in the capacity of a chairman of Finance and Taxation Committee of Western Region of Confederation of Indian Industries, that is CII, for financial year 2021, but also serves as a director's board member of SME Chamber of India, a business body serving for the interests of small and medium-scale industrialists and service providers. Also, he has received Rotary International Award for Ethical Businessman for the year 2018-19. He is also the member of Board of Studies for Independent Directors, Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, Government of India. He has also authored 3 books on indirect taxation, including one on MODVAT, which went into publications for 10 editions. He has recently authored 2 best-selling business non-fiction books titled Who Cheats and How, which is available in English, Hindi, and Marathi version, and another one, Who Blunders and How. So, today we will learn to succeed from failures by understanding nitty-gritties of financial blunders. Friends, we have such a versatile personality, CA Robin sir, to take all of us through today's topic, corporate financial blunders and professional opportunities, therefrom for CS. Over to you, Robin sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It's indeed a pleasure to speak on an occasion which is our day. It is our day, and it is happy CA Day for all of you. I'm supposed to speak to you on a very crazy topic called blunders. Who wants to speak on blunders? Everyone wants to speak on successes. And when Virag said, let's talk on blunders, I said, okay, let's try it. We can give it a shot. And at CA Day, we can always try something different. And what I will do is I'll tell you some stories of business blunders. And every blunder gives us an opportunity. Gives us an opportunity as a consultant, gives us an opportunity as a businessman wherever we are, and gives us an opportunity as an employee, because many of the CAs are employees of organizations which actually commit blunders. Blunder is actually a negative story. It's not about successes, it's about failures. And if you look back we ourselves, when we were a child, we learned to walk after we fell so many times. And therefore, when we learn to ride a bicycle, we have to fall 100 times to ride a bicycle. So blunders and failures are parts of life, and it leads us to various learnings. So what I will do is, because it is a topic is blunder and is nothing on the public domain on all this, so I will structure it by telling you some stories of some blunders which has happened. Many of it, or all of it, you will know, but maybe you have not looked at the way I am looking at it, and perhaps there will be some learning for all of us in due course of time. So I will, of course, talk about these blunders. I will also speak about, therefore, what opportunities exist for us. And because it's a CA day, I think there is also a time to introspect ourselves a little bit as to what's our future. Because unless we introspect on a day like this, we take a time off for a few minutes and say, oh, okay, this is what we are, this is what we have achieved, this is where we have committed blunders, and this is what we need to do for the future of our own profession. Now, coming to blunders, I do hope you are able to hear me, because it's very important that the communication goes well. So in case you cannot, do let me know that you are not able to hear me.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I will get into this. I will get into a few stories, as I said. And when we talk about corporate blunders, the first name which comes to my mind is the blunder which was created, one of the finest names, brand names in India, if not in the world, was Kingfisher Airlines. Who wouldn't remember Kingfisher Airlines? Every one of us. And it was a fantastic organization, brilliant airlines created by none other than Mr. Vijay Mallya. But as it went along, if you remember, many of us in 2008, 2009, or 2007, 2008, Kingfisher Airlines was the most preferred airlines to fly. It was the number 2 in size. And if you were given an option to fly somewhere, I'm sure you would have preferred to fly in Kingfisher Airlines, as I used to always do. Come 2012, in July 2012, the company stopped paying salaries to its employees. You may remember the pictures on newspapers which came that the air hostess is standing in front of the airlines, aircraft, and putting a placard saying that we need our salaries. 2012, July, Mr. Mallya stopped paying his employees, but it so happens that he wouldn't learn his lesson. And in December 2012, and in December happens to be his birthday, he goes and bribes, actually bribes, Lord Tirupati. You will say, oh, how can you bribe the god? He went and donated 2 kgs of gold. And fine, 2 kgs of gold, which would have been good enough to pay all his salaries to his employees. But then he goes and announces in the newspaper and to the press that, you know, I went and contributed or donated gold to the Lord. So be as it may, another blunder, of course, not good in the eye of the public opinion. Come 2015, the airlines continued to, well, it stopped flying, of course, and there are a lot of struggles. And 2015, November, State Bank of India declared Kingfisher Airlines, or Mr. Vijay Mallya actually, Mr. Vijay Mallya as a willful defaulter. And all of us are here, our chartered accountants, we do understand the difference between a non-performing asset NPA account and a willful defaulter. Willful defaulter means obviously that a person who has the ability to pay but does not pay. So that's a terrible thing to happen to anybody, because if you are a willful defaulter, obviously, quote unquote, I would say you are a fraudster. That was November 2015. Come December 2015, I told you he has his birthday, and his birthday was around, I think, 22nd of December. And it so happens that 2015 December, he was having his 60th birthday. So 60th birthday, Vijay Mallya, the playboy, the face of Indian entrepreneurship, the face of Richard Branson of India. So he had to celebrate his birthday in gala style. So not only that he wanted to celebrate, he actually announced in the press, he made a press comment, and if you ever have the time, you can go and search in your Google, and you will find that he announced in the month of December that I'm going to celebrate my 60th birthday. And where will he celebrate his 60th birthday? He decided to celebrate his 60th birthday in the Kingfisher Villa in Goa. Maybe some of you would have seen or audited or seen the picture of this villa, which perhaps is the finest villa perhaps in the country. So come 22nd, 21st of December, he started his birthday party in his villa. And then suddenly, because it was announced in the press, there was a young man who heard that there is this party going on, and he knew Mr. Vijay Mallya, and he calls Mr. Mallya. Mr. Mallya, you are having a birthday, but you haven't called me. Then he said, oh, you have not been called. Is it, you want to come? He said, yes, sir. So come. So obviously he was paid his airfare, and he landed in the villa 2 days before or 1 day before his birthday. And when he entered the villa, he found that the whole of Hollywood and Bollywood were present, massive party, and a huge celebration going on. So who was he? This gentleman was none other than the photographer of Bombay Times. So of course, being a photographer of Bombay Times, he was carrying his camera. So he was very happy. He continued to click the photographs of the going on inside the party, and of course kept on drinking because that was all free. So he goes back after the party is over, which is on 22nd, 23rd of December, and he files his photographs to the Bombay Times editor. Bombay Times editor was very happy. He said, wow, you not only attended a private party, but you also could get such wonderful pictures. So it will be now several days of page 3 will be taken care of. As you know, page 3 contains all the celebrity photographs. So, it so happens that the photographs were published in 2015 on 25th of December. Now, what is the 25th December? 25th December happens to be the Christmas day. So normally on Christmas day, people are on holiday, they have time, and many of us who normally would not look at Bombay Times, perhaps might open up the pages of Bombay Times to look at some beautiful pictures, beautiful faces. And so it so happens that on 25th December, around 11:30, there was one gentleman who is very busy. He opens Bombay Times on that day because he was at home, and I'll tell you the name very shortly. And he says that he sees the huge on page 3, the huge photographs, pictures of the party which was going on. And who was this gentleman who opened the newspaper? It was none other than the Reserve Bank of India Governor, the then Raghuraman Rajan. Raghuraman Rajan, of course, wouldn't have time to look at Bombay Times, but it was the 25th December he looked at it, and he was singularly angry. He said, how can this man who has not paid the bankers, who has not paid his employees, who is not paying any dues to anyone, and he is having such a party? He got very angry. And immediately he called up a lady whom he knew. Who was the lady he called up? He called up none other than Arundhati Bhattacharya, the State Bank of India chairperson at that time. So he calls Arundhati and says, Arundhati, are you at home? She says, yes, sir. So do you have Bombay Times at home? She said, yes, sir. So can you open Bombay Times and see what's there in page 3? So she opens, and she immediately realized the gravity of the problem. She said, oh my goodness. So Raghuraman Rajan asks Arundhati, if I would have taken from you a car loan worth 3 lakhs, and if I wouldn't have paid back the car loan, wouldn't you have taken away my car? He said, yes, sir. Then if this man you have declared willful defaulter 1 month back, last month, how is the Kingfisher Villa? The villa is still with him. How is the villa with him still? Why haven't you taken it away? So she said, I agree with you, sir. So Raghuraman Rajan says that time over the call, she said, Arundhati, this man must be arrested. And in those days, this was not a common thing. You couldn't think of arresting Mr. Mallya, who was that time the Rajya Sabha MP, has all the diplomatic protections, and it was unheard of. Of course, after IBC, these arrests and things like that we are seeing, but in 2015, 2016, it was almost not there. And if you can recollect back, I'm sure most of us are in the practicing, so you would know what I'm trying to say. So the matter was very confidential. There were about, if I remember, 24 or 25 bankers consortium. They all had to agree that such movement has to take place. and keep it away from Mr. Malia, that he shouldn't get to know, because if he gets to know, the situation would be completely different. There's no question he might be actually vindictive on some people there. So by the time all the bankers got their approval and they could get back and move the Supreme Court, they actually decided to move the Supreme Court. That strategy, they said that we will confiscate the passport first of Mr. Malia, and then once the passport is confiscated, we will move for the arrest. Because if we move for the arrest for the first time, the Supreme Court may not allow. So that was the strategy they adopted. So by the time the Supreme Court was moved, it was 2nd of March 2016. And so it was, I think, the third on the list. And Supreme Court heard the lawyer for about 10 minutes, and immediately on the court and open court, the judge declared that his passport should be confiscated. However, within a minute, a man comes up to the bench, to the honorable bench, and says, "Sir, Mr. Vijay Mallya has run away last night. He has taken the Jet Airways first-class flight, taken his girlfriend with him, 14 big bags, and off he went away on the 1st of March. And then the rest is history." So everything was done by the banking system. The Supreme Court allowed him to be perhaps confiscating his passport. Obviously, he got to know. And 12 hours before, he escaped and he ran away from the country forever. Now, you would say, why is the story I'm saying? This story, this blunder, which Mr. Mallya did, creating a wonderful organization, wonderful brand from the scratch, the most preferred airlines to fly. Each one of us on the call here would remember how wonderful the experiences were, and yet where it led itself to. This, ladies and gentlemen on the call, this example, this story has changed the banking forever. What happened? Come middle of March, now Mr. Raghuraman Rajan was very, very unhappy. I say he was hopping mad. He said, "I did everything possible, and this man runs away." So what he does, what he can do, and in his judgment, he did two things. One, in the middle of March, which is about 16th March, if I remember, there was an RBI circular which said that no evergreening anymore. And ladies and gentlemen, most of us are finance people here. Evergreening means that when an entrepreneur does not pay a loan, the banking system gives him a new loan to pay back the old loan. What basically it means that the entrepreneurial system knew and had assumed that if I have a large loan from the banking system, I don't have to pay back. I don't have to pay it back. And therefore, there was a discipline of paying back the loans were not there. So, and there was this happy situation of evergreening going on in the country, and I did it myself. And we used to call, in finance term, so-called evergreening, quote unquote, restructuring. So the evergreening was stopped on that day. That's one thing it did. The second thing it did, and if you remember, come 31st of March 2016, he forced the banking system to declare every damn NPA, non-performing assets. Now that point, and non-performing asset is defined as all debts or loans dues or interest dues and principals dues to the government, to the banking system for more than 90 days. Before the 31st March 2016, the NPA data was fudged by the banking system. And I had been myself privy to such inappropriate or incorrect data. 31st March, all NPAs were disclosed and evergreening stopped forever. And I presume that 98% of evergreening of this country has stopped since then. What has happened, therefore? Ladies and gentlemen, this has singularly changed the way the banking system is looked at. Do you remember what was the NPA? What's the NPA of this country? The non-performing asset, which we used to be, let's say, declared in the banking system as 6 to 7%, it became 12%. Now, it's not my number. Actual NPA in this country is 18%, which means that for every 100 rupee lent, 18 rupees perhaps will not come back. Now, what does it imply? Now, you will say, but it's, I see in the newspapers 11%, 12%, you are saying 18%. This is not my number. It is the World Bank saying that the number is much higher because all the restructured accounts which has happened in the past, 80 or 90% will again become back. So the effective NPA will become about 17 to 18%. What does it all mean? It means that what is the borrowing from the bank? Bank gives loan because you and me keep money in the bank. And when we keep the money in the bank, if the bank doesn't get the money back, your and my money is unsafe. So historically, the banking system creates a NPA provision, as you know, of 4%. Now, 4% of the money doesn't come back to the banking system. That's historical evidence and shows. And because of that, the capital of a banking system, that equity capital, which is called the tier 1 capital, used to be about 6%. So if 4% doesn't come back, its own capital will get lost. But when the NPA becomes 17, 18%, or even higher than 6%, what happens? Your and my money will never come back again. Because of this reason, the Basel III has got implemented. Basel III says, as you know, 10% equity, which means that it is the equity or the tier 1 capital has to be 10, 90 is your and my money. And therefore, they presume that up to 10%, if the money doesn't come back, the equity will only get eroded and your and my money will be saved. But assuming for a moment that situation of NPA would have continued, 17, 18, 19%, evergreening was going on, NPA was not getting declared. Today, perhaps this amount of NPA would have become 30, 35%. Just imagine what would have happened to your and my savings. The whole country would have been a complete doldrum. But one blunder, not one blunder, but a series of blunders, and one blunder of calling the press photographer to a party, to the birthday party, changed things forever. That ends my one story of how corporate blunder has changed the face of banking in India. I'm not too sure whether I have made my point clear. The problem with webinar is I'm not able to ask questions, but I'm happy to answer your question in case you have one. You can unmute yourself or you can put in a note, but I can continue to go on. I'll tell you, I want to speak to you a few more blunders as to how things keeps happening in the financial world. Not exactly financial world, in the world of business. The second story, and not in order of priority, because something which has happened of late led me to another blunder. Whenever, and many of you here on this call are in the business of stockbroking, you are connected with stocks and shares. I have, as a child, bought some shares, and I always thought the Karvi share stockbrokers is the best place to go for buying shares. And just imagine what Karvi stockbrokers have done. Now, this is a practice which was going on. I do understand in some form, but is it not a blunder? What did Karvi do? Karvi is one of the best known stockbroking company in India. And I, as a young man, when I started buying shares, I still remember the first port of call for buying shares was Karvi, because it was well known. They had a wonderful system. They used to give me a piece of paper which says, this is the share bought, this is the paper sold, and so on and so forth. What did Karvi do? When you buy a share, and I do understand that I'm taking coal to the Newcastle, but just to keep the story encircled, that when we buy a share and a stockbroker buys the shares on our behalf, and they many a times keep the shares on our behalf with them. And sometimes they say, Mr. X, I bought 100 shares of, let's say, Hindustan Liver, and I'm keeping the shares with me. As and when you want, I'll give it back to you. What was Karvi doing? They were using the client shares, which did not belong to them. They were mortgaging it and taking loans. If they were taking loans for the Karvi share broking business, perhaps it is fine. Perhaps it is not fine, but perhaps it is fine, because the company or the broking community has no right to pledge my shares, which belongs to me, without letting me know, without taking exclusive permission. Of course, there used to be permission in some form, which we can discuss, because there is some form which we also used to sign, where we had no objection to him doing certain things. So having said that, but that was a backdoor way of doing business, which is unethical and again a blunder. Then what did Kavi do? They took the loan and took a speculative position on the real estate. And therefore, they did it for 1,000 crores. And this is not acceptable. And then what happens? This blunder changed the stockbroking community forever. Now, the SEBI has made so many restrictions. Many of you are aware the business model has changed, and the business model needs to be reconfigured once again, that you cannot now use the client's stocks for borrowing. And not only that, there are now so many restrictions. The whole stockbroking business concept itself, to my mind, is in a severe threat. Again, a blunder, a series of blunders, which perhaps was going on in the community itself, but this could have been handled in a different manner, in my view, and we can discuss it a lot as to how this could have been handled. But this is another blunder which created and changed the face of stockbroking, in my view, in India forever. The third story of a blunder. The third story of blunder, again, everyone knows. All these stories which I'm saying are known and maybe being interpreted in a little different way. The next one is the PMC Cooperative Bank. The PMC Cooperative Bank is a classical story as to how the banking should not happen. Now, as you know, if you are a cooperative bank, and many of you are auditors in cooperative bank, that if there is 100 rupees deposit, the banking system cannot invest, but cannot give loans to any group for more than 20%. That's a cap. What did PMC Bank do? In short, what happened to the PMC Bank? Why PMC Bank became bankrupt? And what was the blunder they did? The blunder they did, they lent their money, 70% of their borrowings, they lent to one group called HDIL, Hindustan Development Institute Limited. Most of you are aware, this Vadodara family belong to the Vadodara family. Now, is it a huge blunder? Now, how can, okay, 20% you can make 25%, maybe 30%, okay, you can make a mistake. What were the board doing? What were the auditors doing? What was the internal auditor doing? What was the management doing? Can you imagine that the blunder which the ecosystem was creating against under PMC Bank? And where was the borrowing being, where was the loans being given? To the real estate. Everyone knew the real estate is in severe stress for the last several years. Everyone knew. And that too, you give 70% of your exposure, you take 70% of your exposures to one company, including that not only Mr. Vadodara family was involved, but Mariam Singh, who happens to be the chairperson of PMC Bank, was the board of HDIL. And in fact, when we now go back and see that when the HDIL exposures of PMC Bank were being taken, Mr. Mariam Singh, who was the board in HDIL, participated in those board discussions, and he did not exonerate himself from the board meeting. Just imagine the blunders which kept on happening. Again, having this group of blunders created, the cooperative banking has again changed forever, has changed. Who lost? We are not getting into it. A lot of people lost money. If up to 1 lakh rupees now is being paid, we will say, okay, 95% of people have got the money, but it's number of people. But the amount of money which has been lost is enormous. And the faith that now people don't want to keep money in the cooperative society, cooperative banks anymore. So we have in one line, in one action, just wiped away the faith of the Indian population on a wonderful ecosystem of cooperative banking. Cooperative banking is like Amul milk. Amul is a cooperative society. It's a cooperative movement. How wonderful the movement takes place. Cooperative movement in India is the best way to create value in the society. But now we have killed it. Killed because one or two families did blunders, but encouraged by a group of either consultant or employees or auditors or whoever, maybe the bankers and RBI, I'm quite sure a lot of people would have been knowing this. I can give on examples of house blunders. I'll give you one more, how a wonderful institution, first generation institution got killed because of blunders. Yes Bank. Yes Bank is a classical example as to how you can kill the golden goose because one, because of greed, and number two, because of series of blunders which the chairperson, Mr. Rana Kapoor, kept on depicting. There are many reasons why Yes Bank is what Yes Bank today is, but one single reason which I believe what has gone wrong is he used to take decision of taking exposures on his own self. He would do whatever needs to be done by one-on-one dealing with the so-called borrowers and bypass the banking system, bypass the ecosystem of a bank and take exposures and see where Yes Bank stands today. What an institution. It's a first generation institution, first generation banking system, banker, created perhaps one of the most well-known bank in India, and now it's gone because of a series of blunders which he committed over a period of time. Now I gave you 4 examples, names, and there are, I can speak to you whole night, a whole day, and yet perhaps I will not end because there are innumerable number of blunders which keeps on happening. But I want to give you blunders which also takes place in non-banking, non-financial areas. Let me give you an example. An example where blunders takes place, mistakes takes place is mergers and acquisition, M&A. And we are all chartered accountants. We understand what is an M&A. Many of you are involved in M&As, so I'm sure you understand what M&As are. In the world, $2 trillion of M&As take place every year in the world. What is $2 trillion? Is almost the GDP of India. India's GDP is about $2.8 trillion. So the size of India's GDP, M&A takes place every year. M&A is the most popular method of growing a business. A business wants to grow, rather than putting up a plant in a greenfield site, they will acquire a company. Overnight, a company, let's say from 100 crores becomes 500 crores, 1,000 crores, whatever. So it's a dream of most entrepreneurs that I will grow by acquiring another company. It's a dream. And most entrepreneurs have this innate dream within themselves. What's the outcome of this? $2 trillion of M&A which takes place every year, 70% fails. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 70. And they will say, no, how can you give this number? You must be incorrect. It's not my number, ladies and gentlemen. It is Harvard Business School number. 70% of M&As fail. Let me give you one or two examples. How a company became almost bankrupt, and of course not bankrupt in some form, is all because of M&A. One example is SR Steel. It was doing reasonably well. Steel business, as you know, it goes ups and down. That's fine. Then the Ruya family wanted to become big, so they wanted to become global. Now, do you put up a greenfield steel company? Can you hear me? Is my audio video okay? Because I get sign here. Okay, because I am not able to see myself anymore. Okay, if my audio is a video also okay?
Video is slight lag.
Video is
but
gone back.
Audio is completely okay, sir.
Audio is okay. ठीक है.
The video is stopped now, I think.
Video has stopped.
Friends, we encourage participants to keep asking some questions so that Mr. Banerjee can answer at the end of the session.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, all that what I'm saying, I'm quite sure it will be quite controversial because after all, these are blunders. And you may not agree with me, and you need not, and you should not. Why should you? Because there is no one answer for everything. But let me continue. So I think now it's back. Okay. So
yes,
yes, sir. So on SR Group, SR Steel, what happened is they wanted to become big, so they wanted to go global. So they wanted to acquire a company called Algoma Steel in Canada. Algoma Steel, $1.5 billion deal. Now, acquisition is fine, but the moment you acquire by taking a debt, that's where the problem lies. But if you have an adequate equity, little debt topping up is okay. And what happened after Algoma Steel acquisition, which happened in 2006, 2007, the rest is history. SR Steel could not pay the debts in time, And of course, now Essar Steel has become ArcelorMittal Steel. Again, the company became, the trouble started when they did an acquisition, and which the acquisition became bad. Another example, Suzlon Energy. Suzlon Energy, again, wanted to become the world's largest renewable energy company. So they acquired a company called RE Power in Germany. Again, same amount of money, about 1.5 billion euro. They borrowed the money. They continued to borrow the money. They acquired the organization, and they couldn't get payback. And today, as you know, Suzlon is in dire trouble. The whole thing started because they did an acquisition, which was out of their, not, I wouldn't say purview, but they wanted to chew more than what they can gulp. Now, if you have to make an M&A successful, let me tell you the quick learning here itself, so that we are on ball. In M&A, many a times we always, as chartered accountants think, or consultants think, there has to be some benefit of saving, the cultural fit, the fit of the cultural fitness has to take place, and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not how M&A works. M&A works if there is a give and take policy. That means, let me give you an example. When in India, a marriage takes place, a girl comes to a new home. When the girl comes, that the so-called newlywed girl gets married and comes to a home, this girl is now got a new home. This girl loves the same person. This girl and the mother-in-law loves the same person. However, the problem starts when the mother-in-law and the newly wedded girl starts fighting with each other. Why? How this relationship? When does this relationship work best? It works best when the mother-in-law feels that this is my daughter coming in. I will give all my love. I will give, not take the love. The relationship sours when the mother-in-law feels a daughter has come or Bahu has come and she will look after me. That means I will have a take approach. Instead of thinking the other way around, the mother has to think I will give approach. I will give love and not take anything. And moment that happens, you think give and not take, a relationship works wonderfully. And that's precisely how M&A works Most of the acquisition, when M&A deals, and many of chartered accountants here on this call are giving advices, the best way to think is, if an M&A takes place, if an acquisition takes place, think what you are going to give. If the acquisition is taking place because you want to take, the acquisition is going to. Oh. Can you see me still, sir? Oh God.
Yes, sir. You're clear, as well as your video is clear, sir.
Okay. I'm getting some messages here. Okay. So moment when you are advising an M&A, please think that is it a give approach or a take approach. Do you know in Tata Beverages, they have acquired a bottled water company called Himalaya Water, and Tata's acquired. You know what the Tatas think when they bought this company called Himalayan Water Company? Himalayan Water Company was one in Himalaya, a small little company. Nobody knew about him. Nobody knew about the company. Tata said, I am going to give distribution system to this company. The moment they thought I'm going to give and not take the technology that the Himalayan company has, just imagine what happens. Now, Himalaya Water is one of the most successful beverage division of that organization. So the learning for M&A is, and the blunder which we make is, we will take the technology, we'll take their money, I will take their market. Just reverse. What is that I can give? The moment you think that M&A becomes successful. So that's one area where huge blunders takes place. Another last area where large number of blunders takes place, and all of us are finance people here, is debt, D-E-B-T. Debt is a big death trap. We as finance people would love to go to the banks and take loans and give it to my entrepreneurs, give it to my company. But this debt has killed hundreds and thousands of companies. All the bankruptcies, every bankruptcy today, if you think of IBC, Insolvency Banking Code, which is now in India, brought with Chapter 11 and so on and so forth. If you look at IBC or look at the bankruptcies which is taken, there are only two reasons. which perhaps accounts for 95% of the bankruptcies. One, they have taken debt more than what they could ever think of servicing, and two, fraud. They ran away with the money. So think of companies like JP. JP was a wonderful company. They had huge assets. Why it has gone near bankrupt, and is bankrupt actually? They just kept on taking debt. They kept on taking debt without thinking, how will I pay it back? GMR, GBK, great organizations, great name. They are in a severe trouble because they just took debt which they could not pay back. There are companies which is great name and they ran away with the money, fraud. For instance, let's say many of us love to write with Rotomac pen. You remember Rotomac pen? Rotomac was one of the most preferred pen. I used to love Rotomac pen. And today Rotomac is finished. Why? Mr. Kothari ran away with the money. He took the money and ran away. I still wear a S. Kumar's suit. I still wear. And where is S. Kumar's today? Ran away. He ran away with the money, fraud. So there are two mistakes and blunders which happens, and we, the chartered accountants, we, the financial advisors, must be very careful that are we taking the right debt which can be paid back, and are we have the ability? I hope there is an ability to pay back, and number two, there is no fraud. So I've told you some stories. Happy to tell you more stories about it. So I told you stories about how wonderful financial institutions became extinct because of blunders. Merger and acquisition, huge blunders takes place because most of the acquisition takes place thinking that what can I take instead of thinking what can I give. Think of always the Indian marriage system. How can I get that new bahu in my home and give love and then get her into our fold in the home? Think of that, and your M&A will work all the time. I assure you the M&A will work all the time. And there is not even a single instance where the give approach took place and M&A failed. And that's where the 30% works and 70% doesn't work. And of course, taking debt more than what you can chew, debt has killed many, many organizations. Now, my topic should have been is opportunities. Huge opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, for we the chartered, huge opportunities. In my view, the COVID has opened the world of business for us. You would say, no, how is it possible? COVID has made the whole world equal. Till February, the world was unequal. China was ahead of us. US was ahead of us. Europe was ahead of us. Today, they are as much khadda as we are. So therefore, whoever one can get out of the khadda, whoever can get out of this whole big holes will be much, much better off today. We are all finance people. Most of us are on this call. Some of you may not be. Now, the two advantages which we have. One is the entrepreneurial spirit which we have. Actually, three. India has innate entrepreneurial spirit. Indians, Americans, and Israelis, they are known for their entrepreneurial spirit, which is world known. The entrepreneurial spirit which we have will be able to figure out new opportunities in this COVID world. In the month of April, when India was completely shut down, nothing was moving, nobody was going out of home, India were manufacturing 2 lakh PPE suits every day. What is a PPE suit? The suit which the doctors, and PPE means personal protective equipments. The suits which the doctors and nurses wear when attending a COVID patient, antivirus. This country never made even one suit before February. In the month of April, we made 2 lakh suits. Today, the country makes 4 lakh suits. Just imagine the entrepreneurial spirit of this country, the number of people they would have got employed, how many people are distributing it, what is the logistics being affected. So think, I'm just giving an example, a classical example. Another example, the sugar factories in India. They were all incurring losses. I hope you know that. They were all either incurring losses or hand to mouth. They make ethyl alcohol. What they are now doing? Making hand sanitizers. From a huge problem business, now there's surplus cash. The Maharashtra Sugar Cooperative Society is making so much money. No one has ever made money so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to look at this world a little differently. So, entrepreneurial spirit is one. Number two, which you may not agree, the second one, is the Indian government has just announced 20 lakh crore of economic policy. You will say, no, but 20 lakh crore, only 3 lakh crore they are going to disburse. But 3 lakh crore they will disburse now. But what about the balance 70 lakhs crores? It will be disbursed tomorrow, day after, 6 months, 1 year. If I give you an example as to how the thought is this working? Out of this 20 lakh crore, you may have missed it, you may have already aware of it, 1 lakh crore has been identified for in agriculture infrastructure. Now, 1 lakh crore agricultural infrastructure, and if you go a little below, go deep down into that agricultural infrastructure, you will figure out that they have looked at every possible area where India is competitive. They have also figured out honey, bee cultivation is a great opportunity in India. They have kept aside 500 crore for bee cultivation. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So if you look at this agriculture infrastructure opportunity, that's a huge opportunity. You will say, no, but 1 lakh crore will never be spent. How much will get spent? 75,000 crore, 80,000 crore, 50% of the 50,000 crore. That's quite a huge amount of money. So if you look at more and more of this so-called 20 lakh crore, you know what? This 20 lakh crore has, I think, 2,500 crores for atomic energy. You will say, oh, atomic energy, they are going to send rockets to the moon or what? No. This atomic, what they are trying to do is to enhance the shelf life of food products. Example, we used to consume milk. Milk is to, if you don't boil the milk in 2-3 hours, it's gone. Today, there is homogenized milk. If you are homogenized milk, you can store for 1 month, 45 days. Just imagine, now the government and the private sector is going to work in elongating the full life of an apple. Apple, if you have 6 months chalega, 9 months chalega. Say, bananas, 1 year chalega. Can you imagine the amount of focus they are trying to do? And can we not, as a private sector, all of us work together to make it happen? Huge opportunity. I think 20 lakh crore is a huge opportunity. It has been negatively sold, but if we look at positively, there are pearls of wisdom and pearls of opportunities lying in that 20 lakh crore. The second one. The third one, which is the biggest advantage which we have in India, is the captive consumption of 130 crore of people. 130 crore of people, 1/7 of the world population is living in India. They will have to live, they will have to eat, they will have to drink, they will have to have a home above their head, they have to entertain. Who will meet this demand? Who? The business. So the demand is 130 crore people are not going to die. Maybe a few thousands, but then what happens? Everyone has to live. That's a huge opportunity. So believe me, ladies and gentlemen, all those who are thinking dark days ahead of us, there are huge, huge opportunities for us, and we need to reinvent ourselves to get these opportunities. We have the ecosystem of entrepreneurship. We have this 20 lakh crore and huge quantum of money government is going to spend, whether it's 20, 25, 30, 18, that's another matter altogether. And third is the amount of the quantum of people, the demand which we have internally. I'm not even talking about the world. In fact, if I may just add one more word, India must and shall and should step into the shoes of China. I'll give you one example. China perhaps will not be China anymore. Perhaps. That's what I feel. Do you know, globally, in America and Europe, apple juice is consumed. वो कहाँ बनता है? Apple juice. 50% of apple juice consumed in America is made in China. And what is India? India has apple orchards, thousands of hectares in Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. And why can't we do that? So tomorrow, do you think even a child knows in the world that the virus has come from China? Do you think they are going to consume Chinese apple juice? If India can step in, that's an opportunity for all of us. I can go on and on and on to the opportunity. So that's an opportunity. It's 9:35. I'll just take a few minutes because today is a CA day. And I think this is a time, whenever there is a day, it's a Mahatma Gandhi's birthday day or CA day, it's time for us to introspect. We need to introspect. So the first one, I talked about some examples as to how blunders just changed the world forever. Number two, I said there are huge opportunities for us. The blunders creates opportunities for us, of course, plus the COVID has created an opportunity for us. And the third one, the shorter one, is self-introspection. We need to introspect what will be CA after 5 years and 10 years. What are we going to be after 10 years? Shall we be as relevant? Two things which has happened after the various things which keeps on happening is not a good news for me. One, who understands governance more than a chartered accountant? We sign a balance sheet and profit and loss account. If we sign a balance sheet profit and loss account, don't you think we sign governance of the company? We are the governance champions. We, the CEOs, are the government champions. But think, Who signs the corporate governance report? Chartered accountants don't sign it anymore. Our sister company, our competing company signs it. A company secretary signs it. Why? Self-introspection. We need to introspect ourselves that the governance report, while the government reposes confidence on us on the accounts and for a profit and loss account, but when it comes to governance, they don't trust us. Very important issue. Number two, why did NFRA come, NAFRA come, National Financial Reporting Authority? Why did it come? Did we ask ourselves? Yes, we all protested. Oh, NAFRA shouldn't come. Very nice, NAFRA shouldn't come. What happened? NAFRA came, NAFRA is there. And why did NAFRA come? Because we did not monitor ourselves well enough. People didn't believe, or the government or the investing community did not believe what we are signing is correct. Why we couldn't do that? These are the two self-introspecting questions. You can say, no, you are all wrong. It is of course I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because I'm part of you and we are part of the system. And we are part, I did exactly what all of us have done so far. But unless we think, unless we self-introspect, how are we going to build the future? In the future, will the auditing will continue the same way we are doing? So many of us are involved in GST work. Will the GST continue after 5 years? Will the auditing continue that same way? Stockbroking, I already said, it's under severe problem. In any case, artificial intelligence and internet will take over stockbroking. Self-filling forms will start, therefore GST work will start coming down. What next? What is it that I'm going to do, my community is going to do after 5 or 10 years? Ladies and gentlemen, unless we build today, unless we start thinking today, and today's a CA day, that's the way to move forward. We are all in, since morning, I'm getting WhatsApp messages saying, happy CA day. That's very good. But then what? Are we going to last the test of time? If we do, fantastic, and we should. And therefore, today is a day, ladies and gentlemen, and a lot of elected body representatives of the Institute are here on this webinar, and I hope you're still there, sir. We need to think that tomorrow will be different. We have to business partners. First is, we have to business partners. Humko partner banna hai. We will be the last and first port of call for an entrepreneur. We have to be with them on a shoulder-to-shoulder basis. One, we need to learn new skills. We have to learn artificial intelligence. We have to learn big data. We have to learn IoT, Internet of Things. We have to learn new skills. And most important, the last bit of it is we have to be a 360 degrees ability person. We cannot say I'm a tax expert. No. You are not a tax expert. You are a business expert. We don't need tax experts anymore. Tax experts is okay. You are a tax expert. So what? But I need my business partner. You need to understand tax. You need to understand purchasing. You need to understand sales. You need to understand logistics. You need to understand insurance. You need to understand IT. You need to understand HR. Now you don't need to be an expert in everything. You can still be a tax expert and yet understand the business in 360 degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a time now which has come to self-introspect, saying we need to be a 360 degrees manager. And believe me, sky's the limit. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir. It was indeed a fantastic experience. Sir, there are a few questions, if I may ask. Can I go on?
Yes, sir.
So one of the reason why we all are here was that professional opportunities, and we have indeed talked on the professional opportunities, but what would be the professional opportunities of all those 6 or 7 examples of professional or the financial burdens that was, blunders that was spoken about it? And what is it, if you can just take one of it, maybe on the Carby example or some other example where you feel that this was the perfect opportunities for professionals to step in and take a major role of it. So if that could be one of the questions.
I will answer that. The answer to this is one word: ethics. Ethics. What were we doing in that ethics word? Were we aware or not aware what was going on? If you're an auditor, you were aware. If I'm an internal auditor, I was aware. If I'm a board member, I'm aware. If I'm an employee, I'm aware. Many chartered accountants were employees of these organizations and they have lost their jobs. Ethics is a word on which chartered accountants sit, unfortunately, and that's the most unstable boat which we are sitting. Should we be ethical or should we not be ethical? If we don't be ethical, I get an audit. If I'm unethical, I'm sacked from the audit. I don't get the audit. Whoever my partner is unethical, signs a balance sheet. Many of us signs a balance sheet, the stocks don't exist, debtors don't exist, and we know that. Stocks don't exist, or stocks are not telling, debtors are not telling. Should you sign it? Should you not sign it? I don't know the answer. My only humble submission is, if we are ethical, as a community, every one of us have to be ethical. Just imagine the trust the government and the society and the entrepreneurial community will have. But some of us are slipping away and being unethical, and therefore I have to be unethical, otherwise I will not get the audit. So we as a community today must say, we all will become ethical. Just imagine what we can do for the community, for the society. That's the answer.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. There's one more question. What is your say on the role of SME practitioners in case of certification of various documents on the clients, and later on the clients turns out to be a defaulter or willful defaulter? How can we safeguard ourselves from such a situation? Of course, you mentioned about the ethics, the role of ethics, but as a SMP, we have got very minimum amount of data along with us, and what should be our role that you see as a proactive chartered accountant we should be playing?
This can be solved only each one of our chartered account. There are 280,000 of us. There are 280,000 of us, of which 110,000, I think, or 1 lakh of us have certificate of practice. Each one of us have to say no to signing that piece of paper. If we don't do that, we will still be hauled up. People will still not believe that a CA certificate is worth it. A professor becomes worth it. Why do we go to a good school? We go to a good school, and why there are good school and not so good school? When you go to a good school, every professor is good. When you go to not so good school, you will find those professors are looking for private tuitions. That's not a good school. Chartered accountant is a school of accountants. If all of us decide, and today is a day to decide, saying that we will all be honest and ethical and we are not going to sign that piece of paper, believe me, there is no one else can beat us, because we have no other competition. हमारा competition नहीं है, हमारा competition हम लोग खुद है. That's the problem.
Fantastic, sir. Just to mention, in this, you rightly mentioned that how we created an opportunity out of this PPE kit on this platform, on this very platform of GoToWebinar. I think our friend Virag has created a fantastic opportunity, and probably no other platform might have created a number of hours, probably somewhere around 5,000 or 7,000 per month. I'm not called CPRs, but learning hours for the entire professional opportunity that has created in April and May. So that was for Virag. Yeah. So with this, I hand over to Mahavir sir. Are you there?
I'm there. Thank you, Puneet bhai.
Yeah.
Thank you, Banerjee sir, for enlightening us. You have opened the treasure of knowledge, and you are sharing your rich experience about the corporate blunders, and it is truly a path showing thing for us. Now I request CA Dipti Jain from Navi Mumbai to present vote of thanks to our today's speaker, CA Robin Banerjee.
Dipti, you are on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
First of all, good morning, everyone. Sir, it's an honor to have you on our JCAF platform and listen words of wisdom from you. I can surely say that if IITians got Chetan Bhagat, lawyers in Canada have Robin Sharma, suspense and thrillers world cherish Sherlock Holmes by Dr. Arthur Conan Doyle, English literature can feel proud to have William Shakespeare, then without any doubts, I can say that we chartered accountants can proudly possess Sir Robin Banerjee as gem of our profession. Thank you. On this occasion of CA Foundation Day, I propose my heartiest greeting to all my fellow chartered accountants, wishing them CA Day I feel privileged and honored to propose vote of thanks to such a learned, renowned personality on behalf of Jain Chartered Accountant Federation and obliged that my committee gave me this opportunity. We have seen and read many success stories, but nobody talks about mistakes, blunders done in corporate world, which is indeed the best way to learn. That is, learning from the inexperiences of others will indeed show the good experiences which one should keep to run business. Sir, it was a fantastic webinar full of wonderful advices from your experiences, research, along with some great anecdotes. Definitely, after listening to you, there is going to be paradigm shift in mindset of everyone who have been part of this webinar. It was really interesting brainstorming session. We honestly found valuable takeaways and actionable insights for our daily life. Stephen King has rightly said that books are a uniquely portable magic. Books open our mind, broaden our mind, and strengthen us as nothing else can do. As very well said by Walt Disney, there is more treasure in books than in all pirates' loots on Treasure Island. So, in last, I want to say that I can't wait enough to have my copy of this book, and I request all the participants to get through this masterpiece of book on business, which is transforming, talks about blunders, which nobody else, and open doors for new thought process. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Friends, there is small announcement. Pradeep bhai, would you like to add our faculty development, or maybe Shantilalji Kulchar, would you like to add initiative for our faculty development professional speaking announcement? If you could just.
Pradeep bhai can do this. Pradeep bhai.
Please.
अमृत जी नहीं है, अमृत जी नहीं है पुनीत. Puneet, you can start. No, you can start.
Friends, there is one announcement, is that we at Jain Chartered Accountant Federation, as rightly said by Dipti, we always encourage on speed reading as well as on our faculty development. On this CA day, we are pledging ourselves to create a plethora of speakers for as a members, and today during the day you would get the forms for the Google form link for filling up the details of yours, so that in the coming week we would be ensuring, we would be keeping programs of our fellow members. So what are we going to do? We are going to give them the mentors, that is one senior chartered accountant along with maybe a junior chartered accountant who would be speaking about a topic of his interest for about 30 to 40 minutes. We will be giving them the entire platform, not only mentor, the platform and the audience. What else do we need for growth? So this is our initiative at JCAF, that we are going to take it from today onwards, and in the next week you'll find probably a lot more programs happening for about 30 to 40 minutes, or maybe for about an hour, and with a new speaker, and one of our members would be joining and explaining about a core concept of professional subject, mostly on professionals, and maybe some of it could be on non-professionals as well. So with this, happy learning, and I wish everyone a happy CA day once again. Over to you, Mahavir bhai. Last on something on closing remarks.
Yes, thank you, Punit bhai, for sharing the new initiatives taken by JCF. I just want to remind about the knowledge-thon that JCF Pune conducted just 2 months back, wherein in 5 days, 25 speakers, mainly the icebreakers, explored themselves and expressed them on this platform and share their knowledge and gain rich experience of sharing knowledge through it. It's a great initiative what JCF is taking, and wish you all the best for this initiative. Thank you, Robin Banerjee sir, for sharing the knowledge and giving us this wonderful opportunity of learning. Thank you, Shantilalji Kuchar sir. Thank you, Pradeepji Kapadia sir. Thank you, Dipti Jain. Thank you, Santosh bhai Doshi sir. Thank you, everybody, for participating in this seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Vira
sir.
bhai, for conducting
Thank you. Thank you.
Immediately
Thank you, Robin
accepted
bhai.
the invitation. So thank you so much, sir, for the same, sir. Yes, Amrit sir, you are speaking something.
Well done, well done, well done. All good, great.
Well
We
done,
all are
well
proud
done.
of you.
Very good.
Excellent.
I explained all wonders and thunders. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Robin Bhai and all the
Have a lovely
organizing
day.
committee. Thank you very much.
Happy
Thank you.
Happy
CA
CA Day to all.
Happy CA Day to all.
Yes, to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.